I know a lot of you don't have time for a long video to play on your Facebook feed or Twitter, Instagram, wherever you're at. So on Thursdays, here's what I do, at least for a little while. I'm going to shorten these videos down for about 3 to 5 minutes because I usually don't watch anything that's more than 5 minutes. So hopefully, if your Facebook is like mine, you can just keep scrolling and I'll still show up on the corner of your screen. Twitter and Instagram, I think that's probably going to cut me off. But anyway, so no jokes today. I want to try something, a new format, and see if hopefully it can be more encouraging to more of you since you don't have a lot of time. And it may be a little longer today since I was just explaining that to you. It's Thursday, July 1st, 2021 already. A few weeks ago, probably a few weeks ago, I was watching a soccer game. I had tuned in late, actually, and as I come to the game, there are soccer players not playing the game, but they're on the field and they're in tears. And I can't understand what's going on, but as the show goes on, I understand that I thought an injury had happened, but as it turns out, that a player had had cardiac arrest and had collapsed on the field. And before I watched, apparently they were doing CPR and the chest compressions and all that stuff, which would be very shocking for a TV audience and a live audience. And the players were standing around him in a huddle to try to give some measure of privacy. And clearly the players on his team were greatly distressed. Players on the other team were crying as well. The game was postponed for about 90 minutes. And whether it was the right decision or not, they ended up playing that game. That team actually lost that game, no surprise, but clearly they were so emotionally distraught. But I want to focus on that for a few seconds, few minutes this morning. In the soccer game, it's not expected that a player will die on the field. And actually, now that we know more, he literally did, and the doctors brought him back. But soccer's kind of a slow-paced game. If you're not familiar with how it works, it can be very boring. But there are moments of bursts of athleticism and speed. When they do the close-ups down on the field, you can see how physical it actually is. But often it seems that they're moving the ball in the wrong direction. I remember when I was first getting introduced to soccer, I was like, their goal is that way. Why are they going that way? But that's not for the discussion today. But there's a quote that happened after that game that for all the bravado, right, the machismo, all the muscles and the testosterone of the middle of a soccer game and these tremendous athletes, they talked to, I believe it was the coach of that team who's had a player who had collapsed, and he was spotted praying on the field. And when they asked him about it, he said, I was just trying to do the only thing I could to help in that moment. Keep that in mind because I want to come back to that. But there was another story that happened that same day. I was watching. I watch a lot of sports, in case you can't tell. A IndyCar driver. They replayed this over and over and over again. His accelerator stuck, and he hit the wall at full speed. He hit it so hard he destroyed the wall and knocked it out. And they had to delay the race forever. And as I said, in the soccer game, the players were in tears. The race car drivers were just kind of nonchalant about it. And I thought, man, this guy hit that wall really hard. He could be really injured in there. So I want to compare soccer and auto racing a little bit today. You know, auto racers drive as hard and fast as they can, whereas soccer seems like they're going backwards sometimes. But auto racing is this precision in the pits, right? Timing, doing everything precisely and quickly. They make all these adjustments to the car so that the car can turn at full speed. And at any time, something can go wrong and ruin not only their day, but their life as well. In contrast to soccer players, auto racers expect that they might die during that actual event. Have you ever watched before races who auto racers are with? They're with their wife and their kids because they know when they get in that car, they're taking their life into their own hands. But soccer players don't expect to die. And there are moments like that coach who was praying on the field where you will feel helpless and unprepared. You've probably heard it said that there are no atheists in foxholes. When life makes us make tough decisions, we get real religious sometimes. James chapter 4 says that our life is like a mist or a vapor. And it's arrogant for us to boast about what we'll do tomorrow. None of us knows the number of our days. So here's what I wanted to encourage you with today. I want to encourage you to approach every day as if it is a race that might be your last. Not physically. We can't run around ragged all the time. Our bodies do need rest. but mentally, and prepare for the day as anytime something can go wrong, not living in paranoia or fear, but prepared for anything that can happen. Prepare yourself with the precision of a racing pit crew. And whatever is around the corner, you're prepared to take it full speed. Proverbs chapter 8 says this, verse 35 and 36. For whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord. A life lived with the precision of a racing pit crew understands that God's in charge of all of this thing, and it seeks his will in doing that. And then it continues on, and I want to say God has prepared for you a way to live, and it may seem to you that sometimes it's going backwards. But in Proverbs, 2 places in Proverbs, it says almost the exact same words. There's a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way to death. Sometimes you think you may be doing the right thing. Well, God is really the only one who knows when your car is going to hit the wall, when you're going to collapse on the soccer field. Live every moment knowing that he's in charge of your life, that every action you do is either bringing honor and glory to the God of purpose and the God of your life, or you're bringing shame to it. And there are neutral moments as well. But I wanted to just encourage you with that today, and I tried to be a little bit shorter, a little bit over, but I'm going to try to work harder. And on Tuesdays will be regular length, 10, 12 minutes. Thursdays, try to keep it to 3 to 5 or 6. Anyway, I should probably tell you that the young soccer player lived, had a pacemaker put in, I believe, and by all accounts, he's doing well, he's recovered. I don't know if his team is still in the tournament, and I don't know if he's returned to the games or not. But anyway, I'd say for you today, racers, start your engines, right? God bless. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you in church.